Washington insiders like to talk about how competitive our elections are. Campaign commercials are vicious, we have debates, elections are often close, and that's all true. But that doesn't mean that Washington's overlords actually allow open competition. They rarely do. Elections are basically limited to Republican versus Democrat. Outsiders, you're not welcome. So where does that leave people like me? I don't like some of the choices offered me by the two big parties. Democrats want government control of the economy and many other things. Republicans often want government control of our personal lives. I don't want government to regulate every inch of my life, and that's why I'm a libertarian, and I often vote for the Libertarian candidate, even though they always lose. So far, could change. And I'll probably vote for the Libertarian again this year just to make a statement. And because of that, Coulter wants to drown me? Really? That's what you wrote? You want to drown libertarians?
You're voting in New York?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I don't think
my vote won't matter.
I don't know. I mean, I really like the Republican gubernatorial candidate, and I think you should like him. But those are the libertarians I said I wanted to drown. There are a lot of very important elections, and you cannot tell me there is no difference between the parties. A lot of the reason they are so similar, certainly the Republican Party is the more libertarian party. The reason when Republicans are bad, it is often because you have to be bad to get a vote. If you want to make a point, go.
I want individual.
I'd rather have you go out and create vandalism than cause Republicans to lose the Senate. If Republicans don't take 53 or 54 Senate seats, we're losing 2 in 2 years. Even if we get a Republican president, Obamacare is not going to be repealed. You are not going to have any concept of privatizing Social Security. We lose everything. You don't have a fighting shot. This is such an important election. And Democrats don't have to put up with this nonsense. They don't have their equivalent of the Tea Party or Libertarians. When Greens run, they run in states like New York or California where their vote, it doesn't make a difference. If you're a Libertarian in Mississippi or Utah, fine. I will not waste my time flying out to drown you. But if you are voting in one of these tightly contested Senate races, Louisiana, Alaska, Georgia, you're going to cost Republicans the Senate, and that's it.
Libertarian Party candidates are more competitive this year and may sway some elections. In Virginia, Libertarian Senate candidate Robert Sarvis is polling at about 6%. Georgia candidate Amanda Swafford might get 5%. And in North Carolina, the Libertarian Sean Howe is doing well enough to get the attention of Meet the Press.
He's got 7% of the vote, enough to possibly swing the election. It's actually the same story right now in Florida, that gubernatorial race. It's a Libertarian, Adrian Wiley, who's suddenly getting double-digit support in recent polls.
So this makes you grit your teeth?
Yeah, and you see any red flags with the mainstream media playing up the Libertarian candidates? Meet the Press? They're not going to interview Scott Brown. He's a good candidate.
They don't play us up.
Yes, they do, because you're going to ruin Republican elections. That's why the mainstream media loves to play up the Libertarians. So fantastic. This is a total disaster. Those elections you just cited, this is going to cost Republicans the Senate. We will all be living in our Obamacare concentration camps and admiring you for your principle. Yes, that will be such a wonderful
Fox's
moment.
Steve Ducey asked the North Carolina Libertarian Senate candidate about helping Democrats.
You've got 7% right now. You could be a spoiler.
I'm very happy to give people an alternative to the two corporately controlled candidates that are offered by the Democrats and Republicans in this race.
I want to kill him.
There is also evidence that Libertarian votes don't just get taken from the Republican.
That is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true.
It's a Washington Post story. That doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, of course. It means it's not true.
The Virginia governor's race, Terry McAuliffe beat Ken Cuccinelli, and the Libertarian got 6% of the vote. Some Republicans groused that his presence on the ballot hurt Cuccinelli, but the reality is it didn't. The exit polls show without Sarvis, McAuliffe would have won by about the same margin. Some Libertarians stay home, and ridiculous. Some would have voted for the Democrats.
No, this is ridiculous. This is like saying Ross Perot didn't cost George Bush the election. Everyone knows of the two parties which one is closer to the Libertarian. Influence the Republican Party. Run in primaries. Do not be the spoiler to hand the United States Senate, the entire government, over to Democrats, whom I promise do not share a single principle with you.
But if I vote for Republicans, I'm supporting the war on drugs, the war on most everyone around the world, the military-industrial complex, farm subsidies, talk of spending cuts, but we get Medicare Part D.
I agree with you. Influence the Republican Party. We can at least influence them. You have no influence on the Democrats. With them, it is big corporations and big government working hand in hand to screw the rest of America, and things are getting completely out of hand right now. You have no shot with the Democratic Party. Run in primaries, Libertarians.
And you left out thousands of new pages of regulation we'll get from the Democrats. Thank you, Ann Coulter.